Hello there, and thank you for joining me today. Welcome to Unleash the Network podcast, a podcast that aims to educate and inspire our listeners by sharing stories from Mastercard Foundation scholars and African Leadership Academy alumni who have gone on to make a positive impact in their communities and promote values of leadership, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Ukairo, thank you for joining me, brother.
Hey man, thank you very much. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet
How
you
are you?
too. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well, doing well. Happy.
How is Nigeria?
Um, Cliche answer, but it's hot currently for me. But it's nice. It's nice to be with family. Staying with my uncle right now in Lagos. Um, in a week's time, I might be back home in Aba, which is a city that I grew up in before I heard about ALA. Be there with my parents, and maybe 3 weeks from there, 4 weeks from there, who knows where I'll be. I'm kind of like allowing nomadism to be part of my reality right now.
I think it's becoming part of reality for most youth. It's like any place that there's internet access. Let's go.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was doing work here in Lagos, and I'm sure it's something we'll get into with a record label called Maven Records. I was an intern there. I received a fellowship award from ALA, named after the director of A&R at Maven. And after my internship there, there was the option of potentially doing some more work there, and I was like, you know what, I want to do my own thing. I've learned a lot from this opportunity, and I want to go. And people were like, why would you leave Lagos? You have to be in Lagos. You have to be in Lagos. And I was like, no, as long as I have an internet connection and I have my laptop, don't worry about it. And yeah, I went back home, and it was true. I did some cool things even when I was back in Aba, but I came back into Lagos for something real quick, and we'll be going back home soon. So yeah, you're right. Internet and electricity. Yeah.
It's so fascinating how they have changed the workspace. It's mind blowing,
Yeah.
especially for our generation, because, well, right now, most young people are doing remote work, right? So anywhere they have internet access and electricity, they're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you are into film and music. Why did you get into these two industries?
I don't think I had a choice. I think I think in this incarnation, sometimes I feel like I've been here before. This time, I think I decided that I would do um, what gives me this feeling of like it's like an ineffable feeling of like escape and wonder and possibility and other career choices that I could have explored, like law, which was what I wanted to do when I came into ALA. It just didn't offer me that option. No shade to lawyers. I think law is fascinating. I watch Suits. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm being patronizing. But the point is, art and the business of art is a very interesting space where you can create products, but you can also be the product in a sense. And you get to connect with people, affect how people see things, share your worldview, um, make people, I don't know, just bring people together. There's so much power in art. There's this saying that I forget who said it, but I heard it on a podcast on TikTok or something. It's like art is what people resort to when everything else doesn't work. Um, so it's kind of like the last resort. And I think a mom singing a song to a baby is art. Um, I also think, Labyrinth getting on the Coachella stage and singing with Billie Eilish and everyone sings, "Still don't know my name." It's art. It's all art and at different scales. And when everything else doesn't work out, we just resort to art. So I think in a sense, I'm doing art because I want to be a superhero for when people don't have anything else that works out. And I want to tell stories. I call myself a narrative engineer, and that's because I'm into film, music, poetry, all different kinds of art forms that have to do with storytelling. Anything that has to do with connecting like stories and people and ideas, you can find me there. So in 10 years, I might be a painter, as long as there's a story there. So yeah, watch this space.
And that's very powerful because most of the times they say art is an outlet for individuals to express themselves, right? And they say some of the best artists are individuals who have had quite an experience and then they wanted an outlet to share that or to let the world experience what they experienced, right? Or feel like what it was being in their position. And so it's good that you're also taking up that space and being a narrative engineer, as how you said, is
Yeah,
it's important, right? Because we need such individuals, especially in the African continent. And you are in Nigeria, which is the hub for Afrobeats, right? A type of music
yeah.
that is taking over the world. And so you're in the right place, you're in the right space, and you're doing what you're doing, which is fascinating.
Yeah, no, I love that you said that I'm in the right space. Because that to me is a physical and like a physical liminal and spiritual reality. I'll say the physical aspects. I'm literally here. So if I get out on the street, if I, there's places in Lagos that have shows. There's Bogobiri, there is Taverna, and artists perform there. There's the film space as well. A lot of people in the industry are also dabbling in film. Like musicians tend to enter film, just like in the United States and in other parts of the world. In terms of liminal, it's like, the in between, which is where I'm kind of finding myself right now, in between worlds. I have a degree that I haven't completed at USC. I was doing a master's in film before I ran out of funds and fumes, honestly, to continue. And so I came back home. But I'm also in a place where I'm like, oh, maybe I want to go back and complete this degree. Maybe I don't need to go back and complete this degree. I don't know, right? I'm still figuring that out while I write scripts and produce music, like while I was waiting for you to get on the call, and while you were probably waiting for me as well, and we're trying to figure out our dates, I was working on music. And then spiritually speaking, um, I hate how corny this sounds, but I love it too. You know the scene where in Black Panther when they talk about the purple Arab, the power of the purple Arab will be stripped away. Like there's this joke I tell my friends that they need to come back to Nigeria or Ghana or Angola, wherever you're from, come back and bring the purple air, because when you do, it just rejuvenates you in a way that no African Studies Organization in any university will. No African food joint will do that for you, even if you're in New York, even if you're in Atlanta. Like coming back home can really do much for you in terms of like you getting back into your power. And I think that's what it's done for me. Um, like, not to quote Labyrinth again, but I've been obsessed with him. But Mount Everest ain't got something on me. I'm not. I don't think I should swear, but yeah. So yeah, it's a good place to be in Nigeria, and be around the people whose stories I carried that I carried into classes in Texas when I was doing my undergrad at UT and in LA and in other spaces that I have found myself in. It's cool to be, to inhale the scents and the odors and hear the birds in the morning that I'm familiar with, hear the plane flying to Murtala Mohammed Airport or coming out of it, just it's different. I didn't grow up in Lagos, but I would come here and there's so many memories here. So it's just a beautiful place to be, and to want to say something with music and film. And I have new music coming out soon, so I think that when that comes out, it would just speak for me more than anything I could say on here. So
And we're looking forward to it.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's what you said about like art being, it's like about expressing yourself. I'll give you an example of something, right, that happened when I came back from the US. I made a song called, or I wrote it when I was in LA, when I was going through a lot of trauma with like what I was struggling with as an international student. And I made a song called Uncle Sam. And I posted it eventually in September, I think, or October. And a few people saw it. A few cool people saw it. I can't really name who because I don't want I don't want to put them out there, but someone important saw it and told me, you have to do music. You have the thing, right? And that was from sharing the most vulnerable song I had made, I think, since I started making music. Like sharing, I have other vulnerable songs that are in the archives, trust me. But this was me saying, now Uncle Sam, I was speaking pidgin in the song. I said, now Uncle Sam molest me. Now Uncle Sam, they press me. Now Uncle Sam, they stress me. And this thing, we don't less me, which means I was being, molested by Uncle Sam, and Uncle Sam being America. That was a visual, like that was how visceral some of my moments in America felt, in terms of just the difficulty of being an international student and the restrictions that exist for you to get to where you want to get to. And the best way I could liken that to was with being assaulted, right? And then some guy sees it and he wants to use the song for his thesis, right? And now he and I talk. Yeah, and I mean, imagine you making a song about your pain, and now it's giving someone the soundtrack to their MFA thesis. That like that's kind of cool for me. Like personally speaking, I'm like, okay, it's cool to see all dance. I got teary eyed when he sent me a video of them rehearsing. I was just like, wow, that's insane. I'm glad I put out the song, and I'm sorry that people resonate with the feeling of being an international student in America and struggling. But I'm glad that we can find, I guess, solace in each other's pain. You know.
And I don't know if that's a strength or weakness, the fact that when artists share some of their most vulnerable moments or experiences, those are the ones that people relate to the most, right? And I think it also speaks to what people are going on, but they don't have a medium or platform they can use to express themselves.
Yeah. Um, it's what you said. I don't even have to rehash what you said. You hit it. You hit a nail on the nail on the head, because is it a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. Um, yeah, something to think about.
Most definitely, it's something to think about. You are now rethinking if you should go back and complete your master's or not. And when you speak about industries such as art and filmmaking and storytelling and podcasting, like these are some of the spaces that you could go to college, study, and do well. You could not go to college, learn on your own, and still do well, right? So it's fascinating that by you saying that, there are young people right now who, if they are interested in filmmaking and they have not had the opportunity to go and study that for their undergrad or their masters, they can still learn it on their own and still do some pretty amazing stuff.
Exactly. I think that's where the tension is, right? It's I feel like I've learned everything that I need to know in terms of everything that keyword is need, not want. I don't know what else is out there that I could learn. Like I'm not the best cinematographer. I'm not the best director. I'm not the best writer, but I found my voice. And I think that's what you go to film school for. Um, there's a couple of classes I would like to take. I'm not gonna lie, because USC is the best film school in the world, right? Like people flying from all over the world to study there, and I had the privilege, and I learned so much, and I miss my professors, and specific people were very impactful to me. Um, so there's that. You can't replicate the academic environment that film school provides. At the same time, you scroll through TikTok and you follow enough editors and filmmakers, and you learn about speed ramps, vertigo effect, dolly zooms, pans, color grading. You can learn everything now online. You really you can, right? And so yeah, I don't know. Like there's this movie called Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it won Best Editing, right, at the Oscars in 2023, and um, it won 7 Oscar awards, and they taught themselves how to do visual effects from YouTube, right? Meanwhile, there are people who are probably learning all kinds of things about VFX from very advanced, software at film school. So a lot of things are being democratized right now, but there's still politics in terms of getting into the industry. You kind of need those relationships, and I think that's what these institutions provide. So for better or worse, depends on where you fall.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, right now I'm following Peter McNaughton, right? It's like you just have to follow the right people and you'll be good.
Yeah,
Like, you can learn a lot of things on your own so long you have the drive and you're curious and you really want to do it.
yeah, and you have the internet connection.
Most
You're
definitely. I mean,
good.
you definitely need that,
Yeah,
right? And unfortunately, it's
yeah,
still a challenge on this side of the world. So unfortunate.
yeah.
And it shouldn't be that
It
way.
is.
Who are some of
It
the
shouldn't be. And no, you go.
who are some of the artists or filmmakers or directors that inspire you or you look up to?
My favorite director right now will be Denis Villeneuve. He directed Dune. He directed Sicario. He directed Arrival. He directed Blade Runner 20. I forget. I haven't seen Sicario and Blade Runner, but I'm mentioning them because people know those films. And I just like the way he crafts stories and how he plays with time and emotion. I also like Ryan Coogler a lot, not just because he made Black Panther, but he has a way of making blockbuster films feel like family films, like dramas. When you watch Black Panther or Black Panther 2, you really, really feel it when I don't want to spoil Black Panther. If you haven't seen Black Panther, what are you doing? The Queen dies, right? And that moment is big. It's not an action movie moment. It's an emotional moment for I don't know, for everyone in the kingdom. So I like the way he makes stuff. Music, music wise, I'm inspired on a daily, man. Like too many people, but Dijon is one of the artists that inspire me right now. Saint John is an artist who inspires me. Rema inspires me. He has a charting song right now, like "Baby, Calm Down," big inspiration. Um, Johnny Drill. Britney Spears. I'm not just naming Maven artists at this point, but Johnny Dro, Ladipo, Rema, Don Jazzy. I'm just being honest. Like these people like impacted my musical journey. Childish Gambino, Jidena. I just like story. I like storytellers. I don't like people who just want to make music for the sake of melody, which again, there's room for that. Don't get me wrong. There's a market for that, but I want you to be challenging yourself and telling a story, trying new things out. So I'm here for the experimenters, the tinkerers, yeah, the trendsetters.
Yeah, I mean, you can be blown away when you listen or follow artists who view storytelling as the medium through which they say everything, right? Like if you
Yeah,
use storytelling as a medium to share your experiences, to share what you believe in, it can be extremely
yeah.
powerful because human by nature are storytellers and we love storytelling, and that's one of the best ways to get our attention.
We are. You hit the nail again right on the head. We are storytellers. I also like to say we are story creatures. When you ask someone who's like feeling down and gloomy, like you see someone's body language and they're like this, you ask them what's wrong. They're not going to tell you I am experiencing sadness. They're going to tell you, something happened. You know what I mean? They're not going to tell you, or you see someone jumping up and down and you're like, why you like, what's the good news? They're not going to tell you I am experiencing joy in my heart and my heart is beating faster than it normally does. There's dopamine going through my system. You're going to hear, I passed my driver's license test, my driving test, or I just got into my dream school. And I've wanted this for so long. I remember when I was studying and they start telling you stories. And I think that's why we pull up to the cinemas. And I think that's why I put our headphones on. I want to hear music. We want to connect. We have to. We don't have a choice. This is just in our wiring. It's in our design. It's why at weddings people tell stories. People want to toast, and they don't want it. It's not they don't bring. It's like he worked at a top. I like my husband because he works at a Fortune 500 company and this and this and this. It's like when I met Tunde, he swept me off my. You get me? So it's. Yeah, I could keep going and going, but the point, yeah.
For those who like movies and have seen The Blacklist, Raymond Reddington embodies that big time. Everything he says, he tells it through a story, and it's so fascinating how it can get your attention. And so it's good to see individuals like yourself, Ukairo, becoming storytellers because we need more storytellers in the African continent. And
absolutely
looking forward to your next music and wish you luck.
My first single that I'm dropping under my name, Ukairo, is coming out May 17th. And I can't wait for it to be out there because it's been a long time coming. Made these songs during the pandemic, so 2020, and this is what, 2023. But it's time to just let them go. Just let the birds fly.
Oh, yeah.
Let go of your art. Just let it do what it wants to do in the world.
May 17th. We'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much.